Morning. It's, oops, sorry, just sorting out something with the mic here. It's October the 19th, and the goal today is to walk up to Mosaic Stadium, home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders of the Canadian Football League. It's -2, so it's a chilly morning. Let's go to -6 tonight. It's only going to go up to 7 or 8 today for a high. But sun's out, so... Oops. The gimbal is quite confused because of what I was just doing there. There we go. So we'll start by walking up the crescent. What do I have on the go today? Well, I have to interview an author at 11. About 2 hours from now. Oh, gee. Just stepped in some leaves, but they were wet underneath and it was really slippery. You can see from the orange, oh, then I have my first guitar lesson today, so that'll be cool. You can see from these orange signs, this shows that they're getting ready to clear those leaves. Looks like Thursday. No parking from 4 a.m. on Thursday. And hopefully I don't slip in slippery puddles of leaves like I just did. Puddles of leaves? Well, it's a puddle underneath the leaves. I don't suppose leaves form puddles. Yes, I'm having my first guitar lesson today. I've had a guitar for a couple of years that I bought at a silent auction for my daughter's high school and Luther College High School. And I've picked at it, literally, but hello, walking girl. Haven't seen you here for a while. But I decided I wanted to have lessons, so I've set those up, and I'm having my first one this afternoon. And see how my fingers and wrists do. My thumbs have a touch of arthritis in them from years of typing. So hopefully it's not too much of a hindrance. Not my fingers, but my thumbs. Just from gripping the neck of the guitar, I'm just concerned about, but we'll see. I would say that's a dog walker. Those aren't all his dogs, would be my guess. Yeah, a little past the peak of it, actually. A lot of the leaves are already gone. It's -2 degrees, going to -6 tonight. We've had our first snow. It didn't stick, but we had some. Soon enough, it will stick. And then it will be winter in Regina. I'm a bit later, too. If I'd come out right when I usually do at 8 o'clock, about 45 minutes ago, would have been noticeably, I'm not sure exactly what sunrise is right now, but it's not coming up too terribly much before 8 o'clock. And eventually it won't be coming up till quite a bit after 8 o'clock. So if I keep walking at the same time, I might be walking in the dark. Which probably means I won't walk at the same time. I have done a couple of walks in the dark, but not really a morning one yet. You have to watch out for traffic in the mornings with everybody going to work. And lots of pedestrians. We'll just go up here as we work our way over towards Elphinstone. Maybe I'll cross over. Walk on the sunny side of the street. Of course, morning light is always good for lighting things up, making it look cool. I did do a walk at dusk a couple of nights ago, and that was cool too. light was all different. And geese kept flying over my head as they were settling in for the night. Oh, that's a strong color choice on that house. Oh, the one next to it's for sale if you're looking. I hear something to my left. I can't see anything. Some sort of machinery or a vehicle. Cleaners that I was talking about. They must be sweeping somewhere around here. Well, maybe not. It's hard to tell. We're going up another block, mainly because of that lovely, colorful tree there. It's hanging on to some color, even though a lot of the trees around it are bare. Very nice. We don't get a lot of red trees. Is it a maple? Yeah, it is, I think. Those kind of look like maple leaves. That one's... It's funny how you can have trees next to each other and one will drop all its leaves and the other one hangs on to it longer. Now I've got that song stuck in my head. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. We're not a great place for autumn foliage, not like eastern Canada or, you know, New Hampshire, Vermont, Ontario have much nicer foliage than we do. And ours is brief. It changes and then next thing you know it's gone. Doesn't seem to linger very long. But there's still a bit left. That's, well, the Catholic School Board offices are in there, and then Holy Rosary School next to it, right behind the cathedral. I don't think I'll walk that way because I don't like to carry a camera through the schoolyard when there's kids around. But that's it, anyway. The old part is there. Some sort of renovations going on there. Well, that was loud. There's the cathedral. And the building next to it used to be a nunnery, but now it's condos. These roads don't go through to Elphinstone, which is the street we're headed to, which will then take us up to Mosaic Stadium, which is where we're headed today, in the exhibition grounds, armory, stuff like that. Holy Rosary Cathedral. It's currently -2. Oh, and hello. And read the name. Hassan. Yeah, it's currently -2. Going up to 6 or 7 today. And it's supposed to go to -6 overnight, which will be our coldest night so far, but certainly it'll be colder than that eventually. Not that far away either. I'm wearing my leather jacket and gloves this morning. The jacket will probably be a little too warm by the time I've walked a bit more. But I learned my lesson a few days ago, walking at about this temperature without a glove, and my hand got quite chilly, so wearing a glove. Because your hand carrying the gimbal is stuck out in the open. I mean, I can change hands, but it's a little awkward. Said morning light is great for, well, the houses on that side of the street especially always look so great in the morning light. Okay. Next street is 13th, and we'll just walk down it then to Elphinstone, which is just a block to my left now, I think. Maybe 2. Apartment building there. Yes, the trees are lovely. Everyone planted by hand. This is the natural landscape here is completely treeless because we're in the middle of the Great Plains. So every tree in Regina. And when I worked at the city for a few months, filling in for somebody in the communications department who was on adoption leave, I guess it was, I ran across the figure that there were 250,000 trees in Regina. Probably more than that now. But yeah, everyone was planted by somebody, except for, you know, the occasional thing that sprang up in somebody's backyard just from natural reproduction. We have one of those. Way too close to the garage. Technically, I think it's a caragana, but which is we usually think of as bushes, but it's a tree effectively. Anyway, the vast majority of Regina trees were planted by someone. Oh, this is the Connaught Library. Been there a few times for programs. That's the brand new Connaught School over there. Happy High coffee shop over there. My daughter likes a lot. Doesn't look very active at the moment. They gone out of business? I hope not. She liked it. And then Slate Fine Art Gallery there. Of course, that, as you can tell from looking at it, used to be a convenience store. Probably they're just not open yet. Now we're on Elphinstone. Next cross street is Victoria Avenue, if you're following along on Google Maps. My ears are a little cold, but I didn't want to put on my hat because that gets too warm quite quickly usually. And yes, the big white thing up there is where we're headed. Mosaic Stadium. Home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders of the Canadian Football League. I've walked up here 4 or 5 times over the last few months, but it's been a few weeks, I think, since I've been up here, so I thought I'd make the effort today. Well, it's all relative. Regina is not a costly place to live compared to any big city like Toronto or New York or somewhere like that, Vancouver. Here's Victoria Avenue. Houses around here, like a 2-story house, would probably go for $350,000, $400,000 Canadian, which is nothing compared to what it would cost you in a big city. I don't know what rents are. I haven't rented in a very long time, but I'm sure they're less than what my daughter's paying in Toronto. She's in a very ordinary apartment with 2 other girls at university, and apartment under 1,000 square feet, and they're paying $3,000 a month in rent. I would imagine something like that here would only be about $1,000 a month, but I don't know for sure. And in this neighborhood, I have no idea what rents are, but again, an ordinary or older 2-story home is probably worth about $400,000. A smaller one like that, I imagine it's more like $200,000. Then there's taxes. Our taxes are, what, $3,000 a year, something like that? There's Mosaic Stadium. Most of it is below grade, so the seats you see are only half the seats. And there's more seats going down below ground level. We'll see when we get over there. This is also the exhibition grounds over here. How are we doing on this light? Looks like we better go this way. Wait for the left turns here. I don't know if I can get the walk light or not, but it doesn't matter because it would have gone on if I'd pressed it. That's Saskatchewan Drive, so there's downtown. And the thing that says Mosaic Stadium on it is the back of the Jumbotron. Hi, Miriam. In India. This railroad track here is the main CP line. This would have been the Transcontinental Railway, built in the 19th century, that united the coast from coast to coast. The National Dream. In the words of the famous book by Pierre Burton that talks about its building. Actually, it's a trilogy. The road goes downtown and then out to the prairie in that direction. Well, out to the prairie in that direction too eventually, because there's nothing but prairie to go to. But I think we'll walk around this side to begin with. So that's the Jumbotron, they call it, the big TV screen at this end. We have season tickets, but we haven't been to a game this year. We've been selling them. And there's downtown, such as it is. This is the Lawson Aquatic Center, or just the Lawson, well, the pool, I guess, is the Aquatic Center. This side over here is a big gym. So it's a city-owned facility people go to for, you know, exercise, that stuff. And swim teams would practice there, divers, and all that kind of thing. Divers. Oh. It's a stadium. It seats about 30, I think it's 38,000 if I remember right. In the building in front of us, the red brick building, is the armory, which at one point was an armory. The Saskatchewan Military Museum is in there, and that's where the Army cadets would practice. It's the Lawson. I'm actually going to walk down, I think, by the armory and then come back by Mosaic Stadium to show more views of it. There's the entrance. There's a big parking lot on the other side, which is actually more of the main entrance. The pool is under this part here. Again, Mosaic. We'll come back by it again. The rider store for your Saskatchewan Rough Rider merchandise. And then further over is Everest Place. This is where the exhibition is held every year, the big fair. It's like a state fair, only this is Canada, so it's not. So it's just parking over there. Entrance to the stadium. So the stadium replaced Taylor Field, which was right over there. It used to be you wouldn't be able to see downtown because the stadium was there, but it was torn down when this one was built. Here's the armory. It still has a few military pieces on display. The other thing that's over here is the Pascal Hospital. We'll be walking towards it in a minute. A few howitzers and no trespassing. Access interdit. Get a look at the front of it when I get to the gate here. Where is the new armory? I don't believe we have a new armory. I don't think we have an armory in the sense that they once had armories where they literally kept weapons. They're mostly, well, like this. As the Saskatchewan Military Museum is in there. And as I said, the cadets work out of here, and recruitment and all that sort of thing. I don't know where the military stores its weapons. I don't think there's any in here. But this would date back to First World War or earlier. Regina Rifles, I believe is the name of the regiment. Down in Weyburn, at the Weyburn Review, they were still having the survivors of that. I think that ended about the same time I left the review in the late 80s. Finally, the survivors were too old to keep getting together on a regular basis. But there were certainly lots of Second World War vets. And the Legion was a happening place, Royal Canadian Legion. So that's the Pascal Hospital in front of us. I'm going to walk around the exhibition grounds, I think, is my plan. Go down here, follow the path more or less that we followed during the drive-in vaccination clinics earlier in the spring. There's two hospitals. This is the Pasqua. The other one is Regina General, which is over on the other side of downtown. You see the stadium is always there, looming over things. There's a fire hall there too. That's what that building is, if I remember right. Behind the cell tower or microwave tower, whatever kind of communications tower that is. And this is Everest Place, full of hockey arenas, minor hockey. And then when the fair is on, the exhibition, these are all exhibition spaces. Okay, technically this is Cooperative Center. Everest Place is the orange bit down there. And we'll walk by it when I get around to the other side and come back. It's the home of the Regina Pats of the Western Hockey League. I don't know how many rinks are in here. There's several. And it's also kind of a convention space. You can do all sorts of things in that building. I've been to big dinners put on by the Premier in there. Well, technically it was the Saskatchewan party put it on, but he was Premier. The Premier was of the Saskatchewan party, so he was the speaker. When my wife was on council for Association of Professional Engineers and Geoscientists of Saskatchewan, I accompanied her to a few things like that for both parties. Yeah, there's a fire station. And the hospital. Used to be called Grey Nuns, and sort of the red brick, some of the red brick stuff on the other side I think is still, goes back to the earlier version. I remember my mother being in Grey Nuns Hospital when I was a kid, driving up here. There used to be 3 hospitals, and now Saskatchewan Polytechnic, which I walked to last week, right out on the prairie. Just this lonely brick building rising out of the prairie. Used to be the Plains Health Center. My dad was in that hospital at one point. It was very popular with surrounding communities because it was so easy to get to. You didn't have to drive into Regina to go to it. But for some reason, many years ago now, I don't even remember which government it was closed. And then it was turned into Saskatchewan Polytechnic, which used to be SIAS, the Saskatchewan Institute of Applied Science and Technology. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. That song is still in my head. It matches my walking. Dum 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 on the sunny side of the street. That's the tempo I'm walking at. Should be able to walk right around the end of this and go down the far side. So when we did the drive-through vaccination clinic, we were sort of doing the Disneyland thing, big zigzagging line through here. Here's the back of the hospital. And then you ended up, finally, we can still see these pylons are still set up for that, it looks like. You ended up in, are they still doing drive-through vaccinations? Maybe they are. You went through that opening right there. I got vaccinated in your car. It looks like they're still doing it because there's 2 cars lined up there. I thought these had closed down. This would be some, well, this still isn't very old, but this is the older end of the hospital. I don't know if there's anything left of the old Grey Nuns, really. Might be up there. Like this end of the building looks like it's maybe old enough to be Grey Nuns. There's now a hotel next to it, which there certainly never used to be. Very handy for people who want to stay close to somebody who's in the hospital. These seem to be full of stuff for exhibitions and things like that. So you drove around there and around the corner. Now back when they were doing Sask Expo, I don't know if it'll come back or not, we would load in our stuff into that building down there the last couple of years. Agricultural Manufacturers of Canada, AMC. One of the big things they have here is called Agribition, which is a showcase of agricultural equipment. Here's the hotel. The older end of the, yeah, you can see the cross up there, so that would have been Grey Nuns. What's left of the original Grey Nuns. Do not block roadway to traffic exiting the building. I promise I won't. Don't remember what kind of a hotel it is. Probably a Marriott. Everything's a Marriott. So again, when I got my first vaccination, I was in my car for about 4 to 5 hours crawling along. You got to here and you thought you were getting close, and then you got further back and you saw the big Disneyland zigzag line. So it was probably still 2 hours when I got to here, and I thought I was getting, must be almost done. It is a Marriott. It's the Residence Inn. And now my coat feels too much. I figured it would by the time I was done. Especially whenever I'm in the sun. Southeast would have to be the Plains Hospital. That's what I was just talking about. Now SciAst, Saskatchewan Polytechnic. So it's been repurposed. It's not exactly a scenic route back here, but this is the backside of the exhibition building. So if you go back, what day was that? Wednesday maybe, last week? If you look for the thumbnail of the prairie with the building rising out of the middle of it, that's the former Plains Health Center and is now Saskatchewan Polytechnic. So only 2 hospitals, this one and Regina General, which is the oldest and is very close to downtown. Now, the first few times I came to Fan Expo, we loaded in down here, usually in the mud, because it's not paved. But then they moved to the newer building. Whew, this may be well over an hour by the time I get back. Oh well, last week I did some that were kind of short, so I guess this makes up for it. Stepwise. That's the Louvain there going by. North-south drag. little faster than Albert Street. Queen City Pickleball Hub. Entrance. I had no idea we had a pickleball hub. I don't even know what pickleball is. Is that pickleball? Okay, now we'll just walk down here by the exhibition buildings and around Everest Place. My microphone clip to it. There you go. Coming up, November 22nd, 27th. Western Canadian Acquisition. I'll have to try to walk down here when that's on. Should be interesting. So this is the newest exhibition hall here. So again, for Sask Expo, we'd go in there. But then we were in here once. Was it just once? Maybe twice. Which was really nice, and then pandemic, and I don't know if there's any chance of it coming back or not. New York Comic Con just did it. San Diego Comic Con. People wearing masks, but they still had several, like 150,000 people there. There I am. It's where they're doing vaccinations. So this is where I got my second shot. Drive through for the first one, but this one was an appointment. Didn't have to wait nearly as long. Gotta get out of the sun so I can see. I see shade. Oh, there we go. That's better. Lots of parking. There's Pemmican Pete. He's the mascot of the Regina exhibition. Up on his pillar there. Used to be at the other end. I'm sure he used to be down on the Elphinstone end. Before they built Mosaic Stadium and everything changed down there. And oh, that's what they've been building there. A McDonald's in Lonely Splendor. Huh. Well, I'm sure they think they'll do great business when the exhibition's going on, maybe. So this is Everest Place, aka the Agridome. This is where the Pats hang out, and concerts are sometimes held in here. I saw Bob Dylan in here. I saw Dire Straits in here. Alabama, I think I saw in here. Like the first big concert I went to was Alabama in here. Cirque du Soleil performs in here. Brand Center, but the whole thing is called, I don't know exactly how it all breaks down. The whole thing is called Everest Place. This is the Brand Center. Something like that. Oh, and there's a train. Well, it should be well past before we get to the crossing. One time I walked up here and I got to stand there with the camera as the train went by for added interest for my loyal viewers. Spare no expense. It's not easy to arrange for a train, but there it is. Just like those geese I arranged for in the last couple of walks. Big flocks of them. You just have to know who to talk to. The head goose. Now we're coming back to Mosaic Stadium. I'll walk around the front again and then we'll head home. Got to go get ready for my interview of an author at 11 o'clock for the World Shapers podcast. Okay, now we'll go take a closer look at the football stadium. There's this lovely park here called Centennial Park, I believe. I guess the fountains will be off again. And this is the Queensberry. Over here, my daughter's graduation dinner was in there. Kind of a convention area. This is Centennial Park, so before a game you'll have various food stands out here and people milling around. There's the fountain. We'll walk by it. It's not running, but it's there. Behind the glass there is the fan lounge you can go into during the game, watch it on TV and buy your food. Still watch it on TV while you get your food. There you go, that's the fountain. It's kind of cool, it's not running at the moment, but you see all the water comes out of little frogs. Look at the color of the sky as I'm in the shade. Camera decided it should be a really blue. I can probably put this up to the glass. You can see into the fan lounge. I think I've done that before. Have to get away from the reflections. So you have to get right up to the glass to make it work, but let's see what we can do here. There I am. There it is. That's statues. I think one of them is Ron Lancaster, the other was George Reed, if I remember right. Somebody's honking, I don't know why. It's one of the entrances for the elevator for people going who need the elevator to get upstairs to the higher levels. We often go in that way when we can because it's very close to our seats. Oh, well, warm in the sun, quite chilly here in the shade with the wind blowing around the stadium right in my face. Feeling that wind chill now. Wind chill is not real temperature. It's just a measure of how quickly you lose heat. But you can't get any colder than the actual air temperature. And I know all that, but it sure doesn't feel that way. Here we go. Take a look inside. Where's the best place to do that? Actually, probably better, well, I'll do it here, but the best place is actually... Now, will it focus? A little bit. Not much to see from that angle. Do better when we go around to the main entrance here. By the rider store, which is in here, not here. That's still tickets. Tickets. Ticket office. Admin Center for Sport, Culture, and Recreation. There's the rider store. If I go up to the front there, you'll be able to see inside. There you go, Saskatchewan Rough Rider merchandise. The armory is back over there again. Here's the main entrance, as you can tell from the sculpture and the lists of names of donors and things. That's what's over there. Let's go over here and see if we can get a better look inside the stadium. Maybe about here. What can we do here? Focus. Won't focus here. It did before. What if I... Oh well. Different camera. This one doesn't want to focus. Over there. Alright. What if I do it this way? Oh, that's not so bad. There you go. Yeah, you got the black bars, but at least it focused through them instead of on them. Anyway, our seats are over there. And now we'll head home. We'll go over here so we can walk in front of the van. I mean the Lawson. I want to be on that side eventually anyway. And I want to vary my path home instead of just taking the same path I took to get here. Make sure I don't get run over. Looks like I can cross. So there we are at the front of the Lawson. Another good look at the Mosaic Stadium as we bid it a fond farewell for today. Already at 50 minutes. Almost. Yeah, I'll be a few minutes after an hour, over an hour on this one. That's okay. I left myself enough time, so it's okay. Don't worry. I know you're worried. Don't be worried. Don't worry. Be happy now. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, do, do. Don't worry, be happy now. I don't know if that one will stick in my head the way Sunny Side of the Street did. Back across the CP rail line. You can see the spires of the cathedral over there, so that's where we're headed, more or less. While it's cool when the train goes by while I'm right here, I hope it doesn't, because that will keep me standing there for quite some time if it does. Doesn't look like there's one coming, and one just went through, so I wouldn't expect it. Unlike them, I don't have to wait for the light to turn green. I'm crossing the railroad tracks. Nothing coming that way. Nothing coming that way. I think we're safe. I have no idea how long I've got on this light, so I better not try it. Might make it, might not. So again. Well, looks like I would have made it, but you just can't tell. Changing now. Dairy Queen over there. Been there a long time. My daughter had one of her early birthday parties there. Or went to some other kid's birthday party there. I don't think we had one there. I think another friend had one there. But anyway, I was there for at least one, and I think 2 birthday parties. They have a basement room. Nothing special, but you get Dairy Queen ice cream, so that makes up for a lot. When you're a kid, you don't care if the room's special as long as you get ice cream. PAL and RPAL courses. I don't know what that stands for. There's us. This is a popular gas station. It often has the cheapest gas in town. I don't know why. Used to be where the taxis gassed up, I think, if I remember right. Maybe that was why. They could offer it cheaper because all the taxis bought their gas there, so they had a volume thing going for them. I don't know. Sounds good. Could be entirely false, though. I think I'll go down the alley here, just to be different. When I find an alley, may not be till the next block. Is this an alley? It's hard to tell. Yes, this is an alley. Let's go down here and get away from, the horrendous traffic. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Chirp, chirp. Chirp, chirp. Chirp, chirp. Chirp, chirp. Chirp, chirp. Oh, there he is. Magpie or blue jay? See him there on the chirp. Chirp. He's got a lot to say. Probably none of it complimentary to me. Might as well just walk down the alley. It looks nice. Although it's not getting me any closer to home. Maybe I'll go down across Victoria at least. Comes a police car. He probably won't hit me. Street looks pretty. I'll take this alley. Scavenger up there, looks like, scavenging out of the recycle bins. Is this one of these alleys that goes right again? It is. That's 13th up there with more traffic on it. Can still see my breath in the sun. Don't think I can show it on camera, but even though I feel quite warm now, temperature is probably just barely above freezing, if it's above freezing. If it's recycling down here, it was recycling for us last Wednesday. This is only Tuesday. Back to 13th, back to the sun, back to feeling too warm. There's the cathedral. Down a little bit further, I can have an actual crosswalk to cross that. There's the condo building that used to be a nunnery that I mentioned off the top of the walk. For those of you who are still with me after an hour, which is probably nobody. There it is, hard to see for me because of where the sun is. Groovy mama here. I once went on a date with a girl who lived in this building. One date, one time. A long time ago. Over here is 13th Avenue Coffee House. With the cool mural on the side. And here's our crosswalk. Good sun. There's the front of the cathedral. There, now you can see it. Couldn't before. I came by here in the dark a couple of nights ago, and the stained glass window was lit up from behind. That was pretty. Been in there many times. Not Catholic, but I've been in there many times. Sung in there, in fact. As a soloist and in a choir. I think I've been in there as a choir. With a choir. When I used to know the music director there, she asked me to sing at the Christmas Eve Mass one year. I remember doing that. Only once, I think, maybe twice. Up in the choir loft, which is a considerable number of steps. I think they painted the interior since I was last in there. I saw pictures from the symphonies concert they had in there, and the walls all looked golden with white, like the pillars and so forth were white, but they was yellow or gold in the vault. Yellow, I guess, it's not implying it's gilded. It looked very nice, but I remember it as being all white, so that seems to be a change from what I remember. So I guess it's been a while since I've been in there. Okay, and that's the separate school board offices. Oh, wait, what's that? Somebody said something. Good morning, Rabia. Coming in towards the end here. Got about 15 minutes to home from here, I think. Maybe 10. Rabia or Rabia? Rabia. I think you said I was pronouncing it right, and I think I was saying Rabia, so I think that's right. So yeah, I've gone over an hour. Oh, good to know how long that walk is, because I'll probably do it again, and now I know how long it is. I mentioned before, our piano used to live in that building when it belonged to Madame Burkett, who was a voice teacher. She lived on the top floor because she couldn't stand to have anybody living above her. And so that meant they had to haul our piano, which is a baby grand, up and down the stairs, which must have been a pain. Once it got put in our house, which was my wife's grandparents who bought it when Madame Burkett went back to England, where apparently she continued to teach for a while. They put it in the living room, and it has not left the living room since. We did complete renovations a few years ago, and they just built a plywood box around it, put it on rollers, and moved it around the living room as required. Needs tuning now really badly. I've got to get that looked after, but it's been hard to do that sort of thing for the last while. I should get it tuned so I can use it to tune my guitar, which I'm now going to start lessons on today. If I tune it to the piano right now, it'll be out of tune. Let's see, what street am I on? I think I just go straight up. Don't need to go any further to the left. This is Robinson, which connects to Up Crescent, which will take me right down home, pretty much. Warmed up quite a bit since I started. I can still see my breath in the sun though. Well, it's almost gone. So I must be above freezing now. It was -2 when I started. -3, I think it went to last night. It's supposed to go to -6 tonight. So tomorrow morning should be a chilly morning walk, if I do it at my usual right after 8 o'clock time. Today was more like 8:45 when I started. One modern house. Nope, 2 modern houses facing each other. College Avenue, Up Crescent on the other side. I always like the looks of that house. I've been inside it. I don't think it's ever been on the Devon School home tour. Certainly not while my wife was involved with that. Well, it looks like they're doing roofing on it. Wheatland Roofing did our roof a few years ago. Oh, they're on the one next to it. Up there. Oh. What's going on up there? Scaffolding and everything. Chimney? Oh, yeah, it looks like it. Look, working on the chimney, I think. Modern house next. The tall, skinny modern house next to the little tiny blue house. Makes an interesting contrast. Almost home. So come up to the Devon School playground. Oh, here's one for sale if you're looking. Some Halloween decorations. Ooh, spooky. Ah! There's Devon School. I don't care if they call it the Crescent School, as I often say, it was Devon when my daughter went there, and I'm always going to call it Devon. Okay, well, that was me taking off my glove, if you wonder what that sound was. Stop at the corner here, and that will be it for today. Almost there. So how long did that go, ultimately? Oh, 1 hour 10. Good to know for future planning purposes. All right, we'll stop here. Thanks for walking with me, and I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.